All right, so it says that we are live. I just want to confirm with Ardith that everything is good. And I'm going to be looking in the chat for some questions. Okay, live and good. All right, sweet. All right, so I am Pam. I am the person behind Stellar Crafts by Pam. Um, I I'm hearing myself. Oh, let's get rid of that. All right, so I have a blog that I keep up with consistently. I'm on a few design teams. Let's see, Pajama Crafter Stamps, Love from Lizzie, and a new one that I will be talking about soon. I don't want to give it away yet because I don't think they've announced it. But I keep up with my blog. I have a YouTube channel that I keep up with, my Instagram, my Facebook. So those are all the places that you can find me. And for this summit, I did this card and see if I can show it without the shine. I think it's backwards, but maybe it's just me. But so I did this card, and with this card, I went over some ink blending, some masking, stamping, Copic coloring, also adding glitter and just some fun stuff to your cards. I went over all those things. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I gave away a free download. It's a Copic coloring guide. So it teaches you how I went through each and every color and what colors I use, how I went through each image and colored them. So that's something, make sure that you get that. You should have also received directions, of freebie directions. So make sure you print that, keep that in your stash. Here's a look at what the Copic coloring guide is. And then if you are a VIP member, you would have gotten my VIP exclusive pack, which is a download that looks like this. It's called Winter Critter Scenes. So it goes over different ways to create scenes with critters. And it also comes with a free live class. So if you signed up for VIP and you got your download, be sure to be on the lookout for your email for the live class. I'm still working on it, but I expect to have it stream probably towards the end of this month. But if you went through the form on my website and you got this in your email, you will get the email for the live class, and you'll get some heads up time and information of what you might need to do the class. Also, last thing I want to go over is that in my emails, whether you did the free ticket or if you did a VIP, at the bottom of the email is information about a giveaway. So make sure that you have read that entire email and checked that out and entered the giveaway. So now I'm ready for your questions. So Val says, what is your favorite technique? As far as card making goes, I think my favorite technique is definitely ink blending, creating vivid, colorful backgrounds. I also love stamping and Copic coloring. So those are my favorite things to do. And usually those are the things that you'll see me do in these summits. Stenciling as well is one of my favorites. Question, what card do you use for your coloring? Cardstock? So the cardstock that I am using is called Express It Blending Cardstock. I've had pretty good experience with it and with the Copics blending really good on that cardstock and not like bleeding too much or anything like that. So if you're interested in Copic coloring, that's something that, or even just alcohol marker coloring, that's something that I would recommend using. Leslie asks, could you use a white ink pad around your moon instead of what you use to get the glow? I don't see why not. The only thing that the white ink pad would be, it's pigmented, so it might be a little bit darker, but if you use like a sponge like I use and just keep tapping it around the moon, you may get the same similar effect, I would probably maybe tap it on your ink pad, then tap it off onto like your work surface a little bit, and then go in with just a little bit at a time. So it'll be easier to add more than take it away. Someone's just getting started with card making. What's your advice? My biggest advice, if you are getting started with card making, is you do not have to have it all. When I first started card making, I would shop and shop and shop and buy all the things. And then in the end, once I figured out what my style was, half of those things I didn't use. So now I live by crafting my stash. So I have a stash that I've built up over 10 years or so. Um, you certainly don't have to have a huge stash. You can use the same supplies and use them in different ways. And that's what I encourage people to do is, use what you got and find different ways to use them. You have different types of mediums you can use. There's so many different things that you can change up to change up like a stamp set or a what do you call it, like a medium that you're using, like whether it's an ink spray, you can use in different ways. You can splatter, you can spray, you can blend or something. Like there's so many different things you can do. So just try to use your stash and use what you have. Susan asks, what tips do you have for a beginner alcohol ink colorer? I would take an alcohol ink class. I took one and I learned a lot from it, just by taking the class. And one of the things that I learned the most from Copic coloring and alcohol marker coloring that helped me the most is that when you are blending from one color to another, you want to make sure your paper is saturated. So the way that I started in my videos is I started off with a dark color, then went in with a medium color, and then I blended the two until that medium color and the dark color were about the same color, if that makes sense. Because you're saturating the ink, and then once it dries back, you'll see that medium color a little bit more, and you'll get that shading, you'll get that dimension from your different Copic or your different markers. You said shop your stash. Was there something on your wish list that you want to purchase soon? Oh, there's so many things. I know I wanted to try Glimmer hot foil machine. I have kind of been on the fence about that one, of whether, I would use it as much as I think I would. I know I would use it to make like elegant cards with the foiling. But other than that, I'm not sure. So because of that, I just haven't really taken the jump and bought it. But there's always things on my wish list. And anytime that like I get like a teeny bit of money to set aside, I'll set aside a little bit of money and reward myself once a month or so to purchase something because the rest of the month I shop my stash. And that's okay. That's okay to buy something small for yourself every now and then. We need refills of stuff. So, that's okay. Where do I look for inspiration? A lot of my inspiration, comes from everyday life, things I see. I have done sunset cards, and I have taken pictures in the real world of sunsets that I've seen, and I try to match those colors up and put them in my cards. I think I did something recently where it was like purple, pink, and orange because that's what I saw in the sky, and it came out beautiful. And it's just, I look in nature. I also look on Pinterest. Sometimes I find neat ideas and I just rework it around to make it my own. Do I sell my cards? So I was selling them on Etsy. To be honest, I wasn't getting a lot of hits, so I took them down. Um, I may think about putting them on my website at some point. just so that it's, with everything else that I have for purchase. I have other classes for purchase. I have a lot of free downloads on my website if you check it out. Um, so there's a lot of downloads, there's classes, freebies, all that good stuff. So I might eventually incorporate cards into that as well. Otherwise, I've done craft fairs too. And, that I think is a great way to get your cards out there. Also, I've been thinking about going to shops and asking if they want to sell them. That's another way you can get your cards out there. How many cards per week or month do you make? Right now, I think about 2 to 3 cards a week. So maybe about like 15 cards a month. It really depends. To be honest, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have a little bit more time on my hands, but I also don't have too much time because I have a 2-year-old follow me around everywhere. So, uh, I wish I had more time to create more cards. I have so many ideas. I use like a notebook to write down all of my ideas so that when I don't have the time to actually get into the card making to make what I want to make, I at least can go back to that when I do have the time and remember the things that, I wanted to try. What got me started with card making? So back like 10, 15 years ago, there was this program called SwapBot. And what it was is you exchanged craft products with people all around the world. So you would create things or you just, exchange product. It just depended on what you signed up for. And one time I signed up for a card one and I hadn't made a card before. So I went to Joann's. I got like myself a little acrylic block and a clear stamp because as far as I knew before that, it was all wooden stamps. And so I tried it out, checked it out, sent my card. I was pretty proud of it. And I got a card back, and the card that I got back was amazing. And I was just like, I want to do that. I want to make cards. I want to give people that feeling I get when someone sends me a card. So that's something that I've stuck with since then. I do all sorts of paper crafting. I do other crafts as well. But card making is what's really stuck for me. Do you make it cards ahead for a festive season or leave it till close? Ooh, that's a good question. So right now, for example, I am making a bunch of Christmas cards to get ready for Christmas, but it is also Christmas in July, or it was Christmas in July. So that theme kind of is what got me going for creating cards for that month for Christmas. But a lot of times I do wait till the last minute until like right before the season to start making my cards. Like Halloween's coming up, so probably in the next month or so I'll start my Halloween cards. November, I'll probably start my Christmas cards. Or restart my Christmas cards more like. Yeah. Someone's just gonna start me. What's your advice? So I think I answered this before. So with starting with card making, just don't go overboard with what you are buying in your product, because just get a little bit of stuff and use what you got. Any advice for people that want to join a design team? So what I would recommend for joining design teams is that these companies, they want to see you using their product. So use their product, share everything, share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, create videos, share it and tag the company so that they can see your work and what you're doing. Because when companies are looking for design team members, they're looking for people that have been using their product. And that's kind of how I found the best way that I've gotten on design teams is doing that, but also just keeping like a consistent blog or YouTube channel and showing how you use all sorts of different products and the versatility that you have in your card making. I think that is also a great way to show um, these companies that you're prepared to be on a design team. Favorite tool in my craft room is definitely my Misty. If it wasn't for my Misty, I don't know that I would be stamping. Um, I usually don't get a first great impression, and the Misty really helps with that, getting a second impression or doing stuff in mass production, being able to stamp more than once on one paper, then stamp on another sheet of paper. It really helps with that. Yes, isn't it? It really is. The name is perfect for it. The most incredible stamping tool invented, right? I love it. Best black ink. Depends on what you're doing. So for my sentiments, I use VersaFine Clair Nocturne, which is a pigment ink. And I just think that it gives a nice, sharp, clear image for my sentiments. But you have to make sure that when you're done, you either set it aside to dry or heat set it, because it will smudge, because it kind of stays on the top of the cardstock for a bit. Um, and then as far as doing like Copic coloring, I use, what is it? It's Lawn Fawn's Jet Black ink. It's great for alcohol markers. And still with that, I would even recommend heat setting it before you color, just to make sure that you're not going to get any smudging from the black ink. And then as far as watercoloring, I'm trying to remember what I actually use for watercoloring. I can check my drawer real quick. I don't use a dye ink. That's one thing I can say, is don't use a dye ink for watercoloring, because it's water based and that will smudge your black ink. Usually like the hybrid inks are really good for watercoloring. So it just depends on the type of mediums that you're using for your coloring to what black ink you're going to use. What colors do you like to use on your festive cards? So depending on what type of festive cards we're talking about, I mean, all of them in general, I like to use bright, vivid colors. So like Halloween, I like using like purples and pinks and oranges together. Christmas cards, you saw with my example, I love doing pinks and blues together. I also love doing purples and purple and blue together for winter. Just anything kind of like out of the ordinary. I'm not really one to do like the typical colors like Halloween, orange and black, or Christmas, green and red. I like to kind of go outside the box. Best craft room organization tip. Ooh. Um, label. Label things. I think I have every single thing in my room labeled, just so I know where things are. Some things are hidden behind cabinets and drawers, and having a labeling system helps me know what's there. Also, with my stamps and dies, I have everything labeled. Like everything is out of its package, it's in a new package, like a plastic sleeve, and they have labels of the company and the name of the product. And then I also have, like you can see back here, this is where all my stamps are. I have bins with dividers with labels. So I can't emphasize enough how well a label maker is for organizing your craft room. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And make sure that you check out all the free downloads that you get for being a part of this summit. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, and check me out on YouTube, blog, my blog, stellacraftsbypam.com, Instagram, Facebook. I'm in all those places. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to send me an email. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate your questions.